Okay, we are moving on with our next topic. So this should be completed either after your quiz or if you didn't get to finish it in class, this should be on your next day at home. So this is topic number 12, metals, nonmetals, and metalloids, and then you can add the date. So please make sure you add this to the table of contents. Okay, so on your next available page on the right-hand side, topic number 12. And the question is, are there different types of elements? So yesterday, in your previous day in class, we talked about how the periodic table is arranged. We talked about the family, row, group, period. We talked about how they move by families and increasing atomic number. So now we talk about, are there different types of elements? And the answer is yes, because we can also group them by metal, nonmetal, and metalloids. And that's what we're going to look at today. So question number 2. What are the properties of metals, nonmetals, and metalloids? So you're gonna make a 3-flap foldable. It'll look something along these lines. And by properties, we just mean like how could you describe it? What are the characteristics of it? That's what a property means. Okay, so we're gonna start off with metals. So metals are on the left side of the periodic table. So you can see down here below, metals are in blue. So everything you see over here in blue is a metal. That's a lot. They make up the majority of the periodic table, and I gave you some examples. These are ones that you had to know, like sodium and calcium, iron, aluminum. These are all metals. Metals have properties like luster. Luster means that something is shiny. The surface is reflective. Think like if you've seen a gold ring or a coin, it usually has a shine to it. If you've ever found like jewelry or you've ever found like a coin on the ground, you probably noticed it caught your eye because it was shiny. It had luster to it. So luster is just a fancy word that means shiny. They are good conductors of heat and electricity. So if you've ever seen like on the inside of your phones before, if your phone charger has broken, you've seen these wires on the inside. Those are made out of metals, not the colored part, but what's on the inside of the colored part is a conductor, it's a metal. They're malleable. Malleable is just a fancy word that means it could be hammered into a different shape. So, like this gold ring, again, for example, we didn't just go dig around in a cave and find a gold ring. It had to be made and to be in this shape. Ductile means it can be drawn into a wire. Like copper is a great example. Copper is frequently drawn into a wire and gets used a lot through housing. It gets used in your phone. So copper is very ductile. It can be drawn into a wire. That's just a fancy word for that. And they're very dense. They're heavy for their size. Next, we're going to look at nonmetals. Nonmetals are located on the right side. So everything you see over here in yellow, with the exception of hydrogen. Hydrogen is also a nonmetal, but it is on the left side with the metals, but it is a nonmetal. So everything in yellow over here is a nonmetal. So I gave you some examples like chlorine, oxygen, sulfur. These are all nonmetals. Properties of a nonmetal: they're dull, they don't have a lot of shine to them. Like these are chlorine tablets, nothing really shiny or fancy there. They're non-conductors. They do not conduct heat and electricity well. So that's what you see on the outside here of this phone charger. Those are non-metals that keep the wire on the inside so that the heat and electricity doesn't pass through. That's what's on the outside of your phone charger as well. That cord that's either white or black, that is a non-metal. It's a non-conductor to hold all the heat and electricity before like it touches you. They're brittle. They break easily, or it would shatter. They like sulfur is very brittle. Once you drop these chlorine tablets into water, they immediately dissolve and break apart. So those would be characteristics of a non-metal. Last, we have the metalloids. Metalloids are on that zigzag line. They contain both properties of metals and nonmetals. And you can see they're everything down here in green. And these are just some common examples like the silicon, arsenic, boron. These are just common examples. You can see some of them have a shine, some of them don't, and that makes them a metalloid.